So coming to the sleep management, sleep and stress part of it, uh, what is your protocol?
Yeah, I can. I just feel that sleep is such one of the most misunderstood, one of the most abused thing we humans have done. And it is very interesting. Come to think of it, sleep is not sleep as we know it. Sleep is a lot more complicated. Think about it. Since mankind came into Earth, right? Why mankind? Anything living that came into Earth, every living thing sleeps, including plants, animals, birds, reptiles. All of us sleep.
Hmm.
After billions of years of evolution, nature still makes us sleep one third of our life. अभी तो ठीक है, but Priyanka, just reflect back 1,000 years back or 2,000 years back when our forefathers were hunting. What environment that would have been, where they had to sleep at night for 8 hours.
Difficult.
They were doing nothing, right? They were neither foraging nor they were procreating. They were sleeping. They were becoming prey. And yet nature forced them to sleep. There has to be a very, very strong evolutionary reason why nature has preserved sleep and conserved sleep and made it mandatory. Why is it that when you are awake for 16 hours, you will want to sleep? There is a solid reason for that. And the reason is as follows. When we go to sleep, we sleep in two cycles. One, it, one is called the NREM cycle or a light deep sleep cycle, which is called the non-rapid eye movement. This is when we sleep, we get into light sleep. So when we are awake, our brain waves, when they were measured through an electrode, they are like this. We are talking currently, they are moving very fast. Brain is very active. Priyanka has asked, I have to process, I have to think, right? When we go to sleep and from light sleep, so we move from light sleep, so awake, then we get into light sleep, and then we get into deep sleep. It's like a beautiful mantra chant. It's very. Now, what is happening within this is every second we get 11 bytes of information, 11 million bytes of information. Right through the day, the brain has got so much of information. At night, when we are in deep sleep, the brain will convert what is important into folders which are accessible. Today, if I were to ask you, tell me one childhood memory, what would it be? Tell me.
You have lots of memories. I think there is like a
Give
part
me
of your
one.
brain that, uh, yeah, I used to play with my cousins that I remember. I didn't used to go out to
Okay.
play, but yeah, I used to play at
What
home,
age would
around 10, 12.
you still remember, right? 30 years after that.
Yeah, yeah,
Prashant asks, the brain goes and retrieves that folder because brain has stored those memories in a folder which are accessible. This work happens when we are in deep sleep. It takes out what is unimportant. In our laptop, we have RAM memory. So in the morning when you wake up, why do you feel fresh? Because brain has taken out all that was
yeah,
unimportant through it. All that was important is in a folder. When Priyanka has one memory, cousin play, it comes out.
yeah.
That role it does. When you are in deep sleep, you increase your creativity. Your learning gets accentuated. When you are in deep sleep, your brain is clearing out all the toxins, the amyloid plaque that we spoke about. People who sleep for 6 hours instead of 8 hours have a 75% more chance of developing Alzheimer's. They have 200% more chance of dying of heart attack. They have 300% more chance of dying of cancer because the brain has not been able to clean. Our
Yeah.
brain is 2% of our body weight, but it consumes 20% of the fuel or the nutrient that we give. In the morning, when you go to your pot, that is 80% or 75%. 25% is in the brain, it cannot come through the blood brain barrier. So, in the deep sleep, that gets cleaned up. Your neurons can make more connection. You've heard of neuroplasticity? Your
Hmm.
brain can expand. That happens only during sleep. Sex hormones, testosterone and estrogen, when you are in deep sleep, they are made. The peak capacity of testosterone and estrogen is created when we are asleep. All that happens in the NREM part of sleep. And then we get into the rapid eye movement part of sleep, which is where you have horizontal movement of your eyeballs.
Yeah.
That is where your mind is active. That is when you dream.
When we are
That is when
processing.
your brain is making connection. It is making sense. Why do people say sleep over it? Brain will remove the toxins, will give you answer. The theory of relativity came to Albert Einstein in dream. He didn't dream of theory of relativity, but he had too many questions. When he went to sleep, when he woke up, the brain had made that connection. Frankenstein was written in dreams. Larry Page thought of Google in his dreams. That is the power of dream. Why was dream evolutionary made? To help you deal with trauma. You were hit by a lion today. You are traumatized.
Yeah.
Brain had to give you some kind of a balm to overcome that trauma so that tomorrow you will go and want to hunt again. The only way you could deal with the trauma was in sleep. The first medication that is given to anybody who is depressed or has suicidal tendency is sleeping medicine. It is only during sleep can you deal with trauma. All this happens because of sleep. You undersleep for only 2 hours one day. Forget anything else. And I measure it through my blood glucose monitor. Your blood glucose levels will go up by 20%. 2 hours of undersleep.
Yeah.
People who undersleep will become pre-diabetic faster. They will become insulin resistant faster because their blood glucose levels are elevated. What happens when you are sleeping? When you are sleeping, your resting heart rate comes down. Your heart is beating aram se. It doesn't have to do too much of work. Your heart is gaining strength. When you are sleeping, your blood pressure comes down. Your vessels are resting. If you don't sleep well, your heart rate will be higher. Higher heart rate, higher blood pressure, heart attack. There is not a single bodily biological function that does not go through the roof when we sleep, which is why we sleep. The best way to deal with your stress is sleep. Best way to deal with a death in the family is sleep. Best way to deal with a bad day, sleep. Your kid is learning, preparing for exams. Ask him to take a nap, he will remember more. If he sleeps 8 hours, he will remember everything that he learned the previous night because your memory gets enhanced at that point of time. Means you have no idea how much I can go on and on and on and on and on and on for sleep. And that's what I say. No exercise, no nutrition. Before you want to turn healthy, first learn to sleep from between 7 and 9 hours.
Yeah.
If you can't even do that, doesn't matter how much you exercise, doesn't matter what right you eat. Because doesn't matter how much you exercise, because when you are not slept and you have not recovered, you will have injury. Nutrition doesn't matter because if you have not slept, your blood glucose anyways is going to. So all the good that you did has become zero.
Correct.
People who undersleep eat more. Because when you are undersleeping, your ghrelin level goes up. Ghrelin is your hunger hormone. When you undersleep, you never go and eat vegetables. You will only go and eat carbs. You will only go and eat sweet. Because that is what the brain wants, your dopamine, to keep you awake. If there is anything anybody can take from today's such a long session is only one thing. Please sleep for 7 to 9 hours.